today was a really long day and a really bad day. As I said in earlier videos, today was the day for Ruth's examination. So we were at the hospital 8 o'clock in the morning, and she had nothing to drink or eat before, and there was anesthetic cream on her hands and feet and so on. So she was pretty, she wasn't in the mood for anything, and she was clearly aware of something was going on. I tried to explain to her, but it's hard to explain to someone who's not even 2 years old. So we went to her, and they gave her put this needle in her hand, and she was so good. She was such a good girl, like always. I mean, they asked if I wanted them to give her something to calm her down and so on, and said it could be scary for a little child and sometimes tricky to put the needles in her hands. It's children can be so upset about it and so on. And I told him, like, if she gets upset, you notice before it's too late, and just give it a try. And she was so good. She was just sitting there with her hand, and she was, shedding a few tears, but she wasn't crying or anything. She was real. And I'm so impressed by her, as always. And she held out her finger to this clamp to re-register the pulse and oxygen level and so on. So said those two on, and she took it so well. And we went down to vibration theater, and I was there when they put her to sleep, and it was horrifying. She was so scared right before she fell asleep and started to cry, and it was awful. And the examination was actually done by 9:30 a.m., but they didn't bring her up until 10:45 a.m. as she had some issues with her breathing. I had to put a tube in her throat, and it didn't work the first time, so I have to remove it and put another kind of tube in her throat to make her breathe again. And she had lots of breathing issues down there, so it took a long time, and it was, and when she was there at the ward, at the intensive care ward, we had this nurse standing beside her all the time, holding a hand on her back to make sure that she was breathing in proper way all the time, because we was afraid she'd stop breathing. And we gave her full oxygen, 100% of oxygen, and she still didn't reach a high level of a 93. That's quite bad when you get so much help. And when she woke up too early, because she had this problem to breathe, and woke up with that, and she was, you couldn't reach her. She was out of control, completely out of touch, and she was very, very scared, and she was just screaming and screaming, and even the nurses thought it was quite horrifying. And then I heard her later, another parent said another corner of the room, she started to cry when she heard her, because she thought it was horrifying to hear a child cry like that. And after that, when she had calmed down and had something to eat and was clearly awake and so on, we wanted to pee before she went back home, and she couldn't. And it took from 8 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we did the ultrasound of a bladder to make sure that nothing was wrong there. And they were still a little bit hesitant about sending her home because she hadn't peed, but we told me to get back to them at 6 p.m. if she hadn't peed then. And naturally she hadn't. But when I was standing there with the phone in my hand, she finally peed, and a lot, all over the floor. But it was good still. But it was a rough day for her. She'd been very tired, but she hadn't been able to sleep, get down in this deep sleep really, because she's bothered by it. She has this little capsule inside her throat. It's not little, it's like an inch long and a third of an inch wide, like 2.5 centimeters tall and 6 millimeters wide. And it's she's gonna have it for 48 hours, and she has this little registrator, like a recorder, which she has to carry with her all the time. It has to be within 1 meter away from her at the top, and she's been so good with that. She's carried it in a little bag all day, and she's tried to remove it a few times, and I told her, you need to have it on, and she just put it back, and yeah, she's absolutely the best. She is so good. She's so brave. I know some people claim you can't be brave when you do things you has to do, but I disagree, because Ro doesn't know she has to do. Means you could put up a fight. Most almost 2 years old kid puts up a fight. It's a natural thing to do, but Ro doesn't. She's just she just take it like a man, I almost said, but she's like a almost 2 years old girl. So yeah, but she's a brave. She's such a tough girl, this tough person. I'm so impressed by her. And yeah, she's gonna have this for 48 hours now, and I think I'm more bothered by it than she is. She's so good with this. And it was also nice to hear, the stuff, because you always hear people being shown by a kid and thinking they're adorable and so on when they talk to you. But I heard them out in the hallway, and also when there was other parts of the room and so on, when they didn't know I was hearing them, or listening, talking about how adorable Ro is, and what charming girl she is, and how cute she is. And one of the nurses actually referred to Ro when she was talking to the doctor. The doctor didn't know directly, immediately which patient it was, because he was new at the shift. And she said it was a cute one, and he knew directly who she meant, and was like, and she is adorable. She's a fantastic kid. In all the ways. But today, I really, really hope I never, ever have to go through another day like this. And I really, really hope that this will lead to something good, that this will lead to something, a much better situation for her. And I try not to think why she's in this position. I try to focus on future, and hopefully it can be really good. And if she's up for it tomorrow, we're going to go to the woods with some friends from the church, and just try to forget about it.